Hey, what is up, you guys? It's Kat. I was just looking on LinkedIn, and one of the people that I follow quite closely actually is Ray Dalio, who is the Chief Investment Officer. And essentially, he started Bridgewater Associates, and he's obviously very, very famous in the world. And he has some really, really insightful stuff that he posts on LinkedIn. So I often follow him, and I look at. What he does is that he posts these principles of the day, and sometimes he has different topics, right? Like principle of the day, and then he's got something else like changing world order. And so here is the principle of the day that he posted actually today, 5 hours ago. And this is interesting because this actually sparked some thought in my mind. So obviously, as you can see, the quote is, "Understand yourself, understand others, and help others understand you." And this actually reminded me of a Chinese saying called "ji gei ji bei, bak jin bak xing." Comes from the art of war. So Sun Tsu was a historical figure in ancient China. He lived in 1500 BC. And he wrote the Art of War. In it, what he says is essentially this: understand yourself and understand others. So ji gei means understand yourself, and I'm speaking Cantonese, Chinese, so in Mandarin it would sound slightly different. So ji gei means understand yourself, and ji bei means understand others. You can put yourself in the other's shoes and therefore understand others. Bak jin bak xing means if you understand others like yourself, out of 100 battles, you will be successful in all 100, right? And so obviously the message is very similar to what Ray is saying here. Understand yourself and understand others, and helping others understand you. This concept obviously is not a new concept, right? You've seen it pop up various places in your life, not necessarily using these words. It's stuff like getting into the mind of your customer, or looking at it from the other person's shoes. Especially in our day and age, it's actually something that we tend to miss a lot because we're just so consumed with our stuff, right? Like human nature, you take care of yourself first. But the people who will be successful in whatever field that they're in is going to actually take the opposite end of the table and sit at the opposite end of the table and say, as the customer or as the recipient of my information or as my audience, this is what I'm thinking, right? And it's interesting because I actually had a conversation with one of our strategic partners, actually, that we deliver courses to. And the key thing that it was missing that I felt was a compelling reason to, in our case, take a course, or perhaps in your case, it would be to use a product or to use a certain service that whatever your organization or your company does. Really, everything that comes out of your mouth, that comes out of your marketing materials, that comes out of your, if you're going to write any sort of documentation about whatever it is that you provide, right? Be it a service or a product, or like even if you're serving an internal customer, like many CPAs or many finance individuals don't necessarily serve the end customer that their organization serves. They serve the internal customer in operations, in purchasing, in senior leadership. It really pays to enter the mental conversation that person is having in their mind, right? And the way you do that is exactly as Ray is saying here. If you understand yourself and understand others and help others understand you. The reason why he's got understand yourself first is because you have to start somewhere, right? Like you have to start with the person that you have the most understanding of, and that is you. And so the next step is then to turn the tables and put yourself in the shoes of whoever the recipient is. I know you know this intellectually. Yeah, I know. But how many of us actually practice this day to day? It's not enough to just know it intellectually. The magic is in the actual practice of it. And then the third level up is to, once you've practiced it, you've done it over and over and over again, such that it actually becomes a part of your personality. It becomes a part of your second nature, that you're just always doing this. And if you can do this, you guys, this is the magic in essentially making your career a hugely successful one. If you can master this and make this second nature to you and your business, there is nothing that you can fear, or nothing that you need to fear, because you will be successful in your career and your business in whatever you do. Set aside a couple minutes, whatever it is that you are working on. If you're creating a PowerPoint presentation, if you're writing a paper, creating some sort of whatever, do it from the perspective of the other person, the recipient of your information. I would surmise that you are actually going to get insight that you had really not expected. So I challenge you today to do that and see what positive difference it makes to your life and to the people that you are serving.